President Obama expanding his border security plan to allow relatives of illegals free access into the United States. Up to 4,000 immigrants could cross the border this year alone, and not only will many be eligible for citizenship, they could collect benefits too. Ann Corcoran is the editor of a watchdog blog called Refugee Resettlement Watch. She joins us live from Washington, D.C. Good morning, Deanne.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Steve.
It's great to have you. What is the president proposing? If you are an illegal in the country, you can bring pretty much everybody you're related to in?
Well, it's certain categories of residents in the United States.
Okay.
They can be illegal. Some of them are semi-legal, I should say. They can now apply in 3 Central American countries to bring in their children through this expansion of the Refugee Resettlement Program.
And who is giving the President of the United States authority to do this?
Actually, no one is. This is Obama's continued lawlessness on the whole subject of immigration. This is the purview of Congress. The President is expanding refugee law, and in fact, this should be done through Congress.
Absolutely. We've talked at great length on this program and this channel about that. You got to do it the right way, but he's got a pen and he's got a phone. Let me ask you this, and if these folks come over here, what would they be entitled to from the government?
Well, one of the things people don't understand about the Refugee Resettlement Program is that that is the most desirable form, in my view, of immigration, because those refugees who are designated refugees are given all forms of welfare virtually upon arrival in the United States: subsidized housing, food stamps, health care, job counseling, and training.
And it's because they have refugee status?
That's exactly right. And Obama wants to give the children of certain immigrants in the United States refugee status from only those 3 countries. We have a lot of sympathy for poor people in other countries, but this will open our gates to any country in the world who says, I want my poor children to come to America as a refugee.
And what are those 3 countries where the immigrants are being granted this refugee status?
It's El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras, and those are the 3 sending countries that basically sent the children to our border this past year.
Absolutely.
In mass numbers.
And that's the story that we were covering over the last year, and of course there were all those stories about all those children being sick and all these refugee camps with so many problems. So now, fast forward to today, those children are in this country, scattered all over the place, and so now the president wants those children to be able to have their parents, their siblings, if they're adult children, have their relatives come into the country, and they would be granted the same status that they are.
Yes, the applications, though, would come from the parent who is already in the country to bring his or her child from those 3 countries to the United States as a refugee. Once the child is designated a refugee, that child will basically anchor the whole family here legally.
Okay. And what's your biggest problem with this?
Well, my biggest problem is the lawlessness coming from the White House on this particular issue. I followed the refugee program for the last 7 years. This is a major jump in the expansion of the program. I also think that immigration is our existential threat in this country, both the numbers and who we're bringing in.
It clearly is something that both parties have got to work on to find a solution, because right now it just is not working. Ann Corcoran, the editor of Refugee Resettlement Watch, which is a blog. And thank you very much for joining us today and explaining the problem. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.